I'm going to talk about an encounter that I had with a vaccine damaged normie, and it was pretty crazy, really. It was a bit surreal because this absolute total jerk off who was the vaccinated normie actually called me a bullshitter to my face. It wasn't even about the people's pantomime or the medical experiment or anything like that. It was something completely unrelated, something actually pretty boring that I'm not going to go into. Anyway, at the time, I could have responded in basically one of two ways. Certainly, on other occasions, I'd have just gone straight in through the front door and basically started shouting at the bloke. But because of the kind of situation, I just made a snap decision that no, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to have a bit of fun. Because the thing is with these kind of normies is they don't really listen. So I think often the best thing to do is to make your point, if you can, through your actions. And that's basically what I decided to do. That's exactly what I did, in fact, was that I demonstrated through my actions to this normie that I certainly wasn't a bullshitter. And in the process of doing this, I greatly inconvenienced this guy. So by the end, I'm sure he desperately wished that I was a bullshitter, because boy, did I make him work hard, and he paid for his own words. He paid for his own kind of throwing this vaccinated normie didn't really know me from Adam. He had no idea who I am, what he was dealing with. So I just thought, right, what you're going to have to do now is you're just going to have to suffer. And I'm going to stick to my guns here, which is what I did. Now, the other thing that's quite interesting here is looking for like reasons for this kind of odd behaviour, because I don't know about you, the last maybe week or two in particular, I've come across lots and lots of YouTube videos of people going on about how the medical experiment has changed people's personalities. And obviously this encounter with the vaccine damaged normie, calling me a bullshitter, that's not normal behaviour really, especially if you don't really know that person. It's quite high risk behaviour actually, because I think in some situations bloke would have just got lamped, you know. Somebody's just going to take exception to that, and it's going to end up in some sort of, you know, physical situation where somebody's, well, I'm not even going to go into that because it's not cool, and I'm very glad that it didn't go down that route. And I'm also very pleased with the teaching that I managed to do with this this vaccine damaged normie. But I guess what I'm saying here is that I pay great attention to the world around me, and what I'm seeing in Finland is an awful lot of people who have walking difficulties. Now I know for myself, when I was playing cricket, I actually had quite a nasty injury, and basically what happened was I had a blood clot at the base of my ankle. Blimey, it took ages for it to go away. It was through a cricket ball type impact, and I kind of aggravated it, and so there was definitely a blood clot at the lower end of my left leg, and it was super painful trying to even stand up, let alone walk. So these kind of vaccine damaged normies who you see all around you with growing numbers of them, with sticks and other kind of walking aids, I think that is a very good chance that they're vaccine damaged. They've got loads and loads of these micro blood clots in their legs. Now the thing is that I don't think it's not just the fact that the blood clots are in the legs, they're in other parts of the body too. So the magic sauce, so we're told, crosses the blood-brain barrier. So it may well be that the vaccine damaged normie had something wrong with him kind of mentally. A bit like how people with it's Alzheimer's, isn't it? Those people, they can get a bit aggressive as their brain dies off through lack of oxygen. And maybe this is what we're seeing now with this vaccinated normie, and maybe the behaviour of other vaccinated normies. Like, I know that Lee from the Veritas Vincent channel, he said a number of times about the standard of driving, how it's declined. Now that for me could be compatible with people who are suffering from brain damage, because their brain it's not getting the oxygen it needs, and it's not getting the oxygen it needs because it's riddled with these micro blood clots. So I think what I might have seen from this vaccinated normie is somebody who's got a lot of blood clots in their brain. Now the other thing that I'm seeing, you can tell me whether you're seeing it too, is that I think the people that took part in the experiment, I think the effects of the experiment are still unfolding. It's not nice to say that, but I just think that is what's happening. The other kind of possibility is what the psychiatrists call projection, which is when somebody, deep down, they know that they have a problem themselves about something, and what their way of dealing it is to project their problem onto other people. So, in the case of this vaccinated normie, him calling me a bullshitter is really an admission on his part of his own weakness, that he is himself a bullshitter. He's projecting his own personality onto other people. And what I would say, obviously, is that the vast majority of normies are bullshitters, aren't they? They love a bit of bullshit. Might be BBC One type of bullshit, or I don't know, some sort of mainstream newspaper or magazine type of bullshit, or it might be that kind of bullshit of let's play doctors and nurses, COVID-19 live action role play, that type of bullshit. They might have been well into that, but yeah, their whole life is defined by bullshit. There's nothing real in their lives. It is all a fabrication. They are like actors who, they look at maybe different roles in a play and they go, oh, I like that role. So what they do then is that they get the costume for that role. So maybe them crew company jumper or something, or Ralph Lauren or something, and then they get the script. The type of things that they talk about. Oh, my kid goes to XYZ private school in Guildford, and they think about what the type of car is that they've got to buy to pull off that image, and their whole life is fake. There's zero integrity there. So yeah, that's what I think about these NPC normies, is their whole life is fake, completely fake. One last thing, I guess, is that I've discovered is I just can't cope with being around with these people. life's too short. It's way too short to have any sort of interactions with these bullshitters. So yeah, I'm sure this guy will have got the message, because I was pretty hardcore with him actually in the end, and he found out who he was dealing with, and yeah, he just had to suck it up big time, which is good. You have to, I think, you know, for me, I was a teacher for 35 years. I'm still in the business of teaching now, and that's what I did with this vaccinated normie who had the audacity to call me a bullshitter. So yeah, so that's all I'm going to say today. So God bless from snowy Finland.